now, here we go. Rudy and the crew, exclusive interview. Welcome to the show, let's have some fun. Sweep Unplugged starts now.
Hey, Sweep the League Nation. Welcome to another Sweep Unplugged here, all part of the Sweep the League network. All you got to do is go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV, hit that subscribe button so you do not miss out on any of the episodes we've got. And what do we've got today? We've been on a little break here. We've had a lot of stuff going on that, a lot of people are going to be finding out here pretty soon with all the network and all the episodes and all the shows that we've been adding. Grading the market, STL 316, Refocus Radio has been knocking it out, STL Music. So now we're back with more Sweep Unplugged for you guys. What do we got for you today? Well, therapy. And, we've talked to a lot of people about mind therapy, controlling the mind, controlling the brain. What about the physical therapy part? Well, there's a product that's out there right now. It's called Lumaflex. And I'm going to tell you right now, I was intrigued by it. I suffer from muscle pain, from joint pain. I suffer from the old man syndrome because I'm a very old and very grumpy 45-year-old person. And when I get up in the morning, I'm hunched over. I just feel everything. The chiropractor does as much as he can for me. It doesn't work all the time. But I think I found me a new product. I think I want to go to www.lumaflex.com and make this order today. Why? Because Lumaflex is here, it's here to stay, and it's here to change the game. Who are we talking to today about it? Well, not only is he the inventor of Lumaflex, he's also a great person. It's Mr. John Graham Harper. Let's bring him on to the show. Mr. Harper, welcome to Sweep Unplugged. I appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm here in Miami. Just had a wonderful jog down Biscayne. So I'm actually ready to get some recovery with my red light therapy. But that was a wonderful introduction. Wow, that made my day. Thanks so much for that.
No worries, man. No worries, man. You know what? It's like I said, it's a great product. And somebody like me who I mentioned, I'm 45, and I feel every bit of 45. It's actually probably like I'm a 45-year-old in a 75-year-old body. I'm looking at Lumaflex, your product here. Can you give everybody in Sweep Nation basically the idea behind Lumaflex? Because we've seen, I know when I've gone to chiropractors before, you have the therapy. I can't remember what it's called. It's like the shock therapy almost a little bit where. Yeah. So, and that's what it is. Is Lumaflex similar to that? Is it its own different style? Can we get a little bit of background on Lumaflex, which, by the way, Time Magazine did mention Invention of the Year in 2023.
Yeah, we have 8 awards in total, and I've got 2 more coming next month, which is pretty exciting. So I guess the story all starts with Lumaflex. It's actually my personal pain story as a former athlete. I played rugby, and after rugby I got into CrossFit for a time, but then I jumped very heavy into amateur boxing, and I had some very serious injuries throughout that time. The injury that kind of like put the brakes on my life was after boxing for about 4 years, I started to get very severe headaches. It was like somebody was poking their finger in the back of my head, like really deep into my brain, really severe headaches. And after going for a checkup, the doctor found a tumor had developed from micro traumas to the brain from all these, my boxing career, I guess. And so I had to have this big surgery. I had like 10 months to plan the surgery, or else it would be too difficult to pull the tumor out with microsurgery, because they actually went inside my head through my ear. It's actually why I can't quite hear very well in this ear. But throughout all of those injuries, I recovered with red light therapy, which was introduced to me by my wife. My wife is Chinese, and initially I thought, she bought me this lamp that was very cumbersome, very difficult to use. It looked really ugly, but it looked like something that, belonged in some, Chinese medicine clinic, like acupuncture and cupping and all of that. So she said 20 minutes, aim it at the area that, that you're having pain, that you're having like headaches for my head, for my knee, for my shoulders from rugby. And these all were very, especially my left knee. This was a pain that I dealt with for many years. I just couldn't sit in a, in a seated position without the knee becoming very inflamed and just hurting, like it was an unbearable pain. So I would aim it in these areas for 20 minutes every night before going to bed. And Asians are all about heat therapy, to reduce inflammation and to draw circulation. Whereas in the West, it's more cold therapy, right? We ice pack things, right? Whereas, Tiger Balm and these heat oils, that's more the Asian style. They sort of use heat as a therapy when in the West we use cold, right? So the red bulb of the light was very hot because it was this old technology. And I thought it was the heat that was actually, doing the magic. I didn't realize it was actually the light. But after, I remember my left knee, which was something that I dealt with for many years, like I was saying. And I remember after a week, I didn't find any pain in that knee anymore. And after another week, I stopped using it on my knee. That was sort of the most dramatic healing experience that I had in my career with all the injuries, was my left knee, because that was like my Achilles heel. You could. But that got me really inspired about what is light therapy. Kind of drove me down the rabbit hole of light therapy. And what I wanted to do was create a device that was very easy to use, and you could use it on the go. Someone like myself that was always moving as an athlete, I would have my gym bag, and I needed it to be in the gym bag along with all my other stuff, right? All my, my other tips and tricks for, optimization. They all needed to be in that gym bag. So it took about almost 3 years of development to come up with the Lumaflex Body Pro. And this is uses a liquid silicone panel. So what this allows for flexibility, right? So the LEDs are in the silicone, right? And it's very, very durable, and it's flexible. So it allows it to be an all-in-one device for your shoulder, for your head, for your knee, for your ankle. So you don't need to, when you go to Walgreens and you'll see like knee braces, ankle braces, it's like you have to buy this whole set, right? Whereas I thought if all we need is a device that can contour to joints and muscles, that can shape. And then not only are we have an all-in-one device, but we have a device that maximizes treatment, because light, when you use light reflects. So if the device is, a certain distance from you, or most of the light may reflect off the side of your arm, right? Or off the side of your face or your body. You need a device to touch skin and to shape around. So you're maximizing treatment to these affected areas. So we created this panel, the Lumaflex Body Pro. It's durable, portable, and it's also fully waterproof. So this is an IP67 certificate, which means you can submerge it underwater for, I think it's I need to get this test. It's 2 meters for like 45 minutes in order to get this stamp that it is, is fully waterproof. And why waterproof is I wanted it to be environment and temperature tested, because I have some very close friends growing up that were in the military, and they, suffered very severe injuries. One of which was a friend of mine. He was cleaning a gun, and the gun fell on his back. And he suffered from sciatica for his entire life, intense pain in his lower back, which red light therapy really provides a lot of support for. So I wanted to create a device that can be environment and temperature tested to integrate it into the military. So that's kind of my North Star. That's my vision. But yeah, we started with the Body Pro, and then we moved into another device, which is more for retail, exactly the same in terms of treatment, but it is just at a cheaper price point. It doesn't have the IP67. It doesn't have the removable battery. So, you've got a spare battery, and it's not Bluetooth. So we've got one more for retail and one more for the pro, the pro in-house use, if that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. And I'm actually, glad you brought up a couple of the points here, because that's what I wanted to get into. Again, we are talking to Graham Harper. It's lumaflex.com. Go get all the information on lumaflex.com. Not only can you get the information, you can order the great products at Lumaflex as well on lumaflex.com. Again, talking to Graham Harper about Lumaflex, and you mentioned two things. One of them was Bluetooth, and that's what I wanted to get into next. Is Lumaflex a type, and the Pro I'm sure has it, but where it connects to your phone, does it give you details as far as your treatment goes on Lumaflex? I mean, I know it's not going to tell you, hey, Rudy, your tissues are repaired or this and this and this. I mean, it's not going to go into great doctor detail, but what kind of information are you able to get off of your phone from the Bluetooth? Is it your time? Your time is at 20 minutes. You need to do this. You need to do this. Explain to us a little bit about that part, because of course technology rules the world, and I'm sure that Lumaflex has to play a part in that when it comes to apps and everything.
That's right. Yeah, the Body Pro has the app, so it does. You do get sort of an optimized treatment features using the app, because if you're just using the device, it's just a single button press on and off, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're using the app, you can do what's called pulse light. So you can have the light pulse, which some clinical research that it shows that your uptake of red light therapy is significantly enhanced if the light is pulsing versus just having it on. And what is something that is on the app that it's very, very important to me. It's actually our number one product is our education. We have the Lumaflex Academy, and in the Academy, we're launching we've launched the foundations course, and 3 more courses are coming in the next month. And the courses are designed to package and fully, like, really to package the science of red light therapy that anyone can know. Like, we want to bring the, all the information down to sort of a five-year-old level, to kind of make it something that is very easy to understand, that you can then talk about it to your friends, your family, and get people hooked on it. And this is available in the app. And that is something that, I was very adamant about having in the app. Even though we do sell it online, we sell the full course with the workshop video and all of this, the certification. I wanted it in the app as well for anybody to download, just to be able to get the awareness out, to get people to start understanding and start to uptake using red light therapy in their daily lives. But it's, in terms of time, like, we have a 10-minute timer, on the battery. So after 10 minutes, it will turn off. And where we went with the protocol is, we said, okay, there's lots of devices out there that it's like a panel. You put it at a certain distance from your body. Not to say that these aren't effective, but the power output, what is delivered with the nanometers and the specific nanometers that are programmed into the LEDs, and versus what you get into your body, wildly changes based on the distance you are from the device. So we kind of wanted to eliminate any uncertainties, and the spec sheet that is, provided with the product in the manual, we wanted to deliver that into the body. So we said, let's work with a 10-minute time frame. This is the power output we're going to deliver to encourage a pain, management, solution. And then but what we require is that it touches skin. And that is why liquid silicone, you can wash it, it's very hygienic. So we require that you touch skin so that you maximize the treatment. And then if I have a doctor that has this device, and it's like a tool in his toolkit, he's able to give a protocol. He says, oh, based on your condition, give me your pain rating, so, I've had this, this pain for 5 years. It's a pain rating of 8. He says, okay, well, what we're going to do is use the Lumaflex. You're going to do 2 treatments a day, space out, the 2 treatments of 10 minutes, about 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours in between. Try to do a session before bed. Next morning, tell me your pain rating. He's able to give a protocol based on that 10-minute touching skin, to where we can then start to use this as a device to actually treat. It becomes a treatment device, right? So that was sort of the goal with the time, the output, and then also, the requirement of having it touch skin. And that means no clothing or anything. It must touch skin. And I'm positioning it, I want it to be like a tool, and I'm positioning it as a treatment device, a red light therapy treatment device. Like, you have a condition, this is the protocol. Let's address that, and let's see if we can give, have, create some relief in your pain or this condition.
Lumaflex.com. Again, go get your information. All you gotta do is go to www.lumaflex.com. Get the information there. See all the great products that are also provided on there. Get some education on it as well. We're going to show a little bit of the website here as they can bring it up so you guys can make sure you go to the right one. I don't want y'all going to a different website there. This is the website you will be heading to, lumaflex.com. Again, award-winning product, a Time Magazine Invention of the Year in 2023. As you can see, Make America Healthy Again as well on the title screen for lumaflex.com. I'm teasing this right here, John. I'm teasing this because it says 2025 new products. We're going to get that at the end. I want to see if I can squeeze a little bit of info for the fans out there. But going back to, the treatment, the red light treatment that is provided by Lumaflex. Here's something that I'm going to go, because earlier you said 5-year. You got to make it a 5-year-old type of education for people to understand. I totally get that. My daughter comes to me and says, Dad, look, I'm doing this on my phone. I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, when I was a kid, my phone just dialed out in text. I mean, I was on the pagers back in the day with the beepers.
That's right.
So, but the pain tolerance on Lumaflex. I know probably the biggest thing people think, well, it's light. It's going to get heated. Is it going to hurt? Is it going to burn? Is it something like that? Is it just like icy hot when you put it on your skin where it burns for a while, then it goes away? What kind of tolerance would people need to be aware of when it comes to Lumaflex?
Okay. Yeah, great question. So this is just light. All we're delivering is light. So in terms of, is there any heat that is created? There are devices that incorporate heat therapy, vibration, light. They kind of put everything together. I just focus on the light, which is where you get the most bang for buck. Because remember, it's cellular energy. And I'll tell you a little bit more about light, and cellular health and the cellular mechanisms and everything. So, so in terms of actually heating up, there is a degree of heat that is created through the LED tool. So anytime the LED emits light, there is a slight bit of heat, but never significant enough to actually feel it and it to be too hot. And also I struggle to think of a time where it will be too hot to use, because it is just light, and it's kind of the amount of output, the LEDs, it's just not it's not a device that is designed to be very powerful. Like, you're not getting treatment from a very far distance. We're designing it for the power to be touching skin, so we don't need the battery to be working that hard. We're more allowing the battery to last longer, so you can do up to 15 treatments and each treatment is 10 minutes a day, right? So the battery life is long, but the output is just not possible with a device like this, unless we were to get it like a long lens, or we have a large clunky device. The output is high, and then there's a heat. We have to have a fan in the mechanism, but the output is just for direct skin. So talking about light. So where red and infrared light comes from, it comes from the sun. So it's not something that's created in a laboratory that's mumbo jumbo pseudoscience or anything. It's from the sun. Red and infrared light is available to us outside all the time.
Yeah.
But the optimal time that we can get just pure red and infrared light is at sunrise and sunset. And there are times if you're in Thailand or sometimes here in Miami, that beautiful color of red and orange and yellow, that beautiful sunrise, that's red and infrared light. And the light, right? The red and infrared light, it's wavelengths of light that are at the right length to penetrate your skin and actually give your cells, the mitochondria, the engine of your cell, give them energy. So we have this LED, we've got 2 nanometers that we programmed into the LED. So we programmed a specific wavelength of light, and we've programmed a specific wave of red and infrared light. So 630 and 850 are the 2 nanometers that are in Lumaflex. 630 is red light. That's what we can see with our eyes. And that's what you see when we turn it on, right? We see the 630 nanometer. Mm-hmm. And that goes about 1 inch into the body. So that addresses surface level pain, like muscular pain, For me, being a boxer, there definitely were times where I would get a bit bruised up, a little bit punched up. So it can address those surface level pains. But then also we need a deeper nanometer. We need the 850 to go deep into and address like chronic pain, like bone, like in joints and bones, right? And that goes about 4 inches into the body. And it's dual nanometer. So that means that both nanometers are programmed into that one LED. So if there's 45 LEDs, there's 45 LEDs of red and 45 LEDs of infrared. So if you go down, sort of the rabbit hole of manufacturing of red light therapy devices, and you start scouring the internet, what you'll see in the world is you'll see devices where one light is on, one light is off, one light is on, one light is off. And the lights that are off are infrared light because we can't see it. And that's kind of where we are with LED technology now. Everything is dual nanometer. So you have to have a red light, the red light nanometer, to support the infrared light going deeper into the body. So what I wanted to do is I didn't want to have a nanometer of 630, 850 and have them separate. I wanted to dual them to, again, create more bang for buck. So that's something that if somebody's shopping for red light therapy products, look for LEDs that are dual nanometer. Even better is multiple nanometers in the device. Like multiple, like what you saw there with the website with devices that are coming. I'm looking to create more portable devices with a variety of nanometers, going up to like 1064, 1064 nanometers. And that's where we can address brain conditions, cognitive energy and focus. We can address like, dementia, Parkinson's, diseases that affect the brain, to support brain health. We can use a very deeper nanometer. So that's something that's exciting, to stay tuned for. But yeah.
And I didn't have to ask the question. I got the answer right there about 2025 products coming out, as Mr. John Graham Harper just let you guys know of some products that are working on currently for 2025. Again, lumaflex.com. You're seeing the website there. You're seeing the products, the Body Pro, the essentials right there. You can go get it on the website, lumaflex.com. And, I'm going to put it in terms because we have a lot of nerds that we talk to as well. I'm a big comic book guy. We got a lot of comic book guys. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, for those of y'all that wanted to be Superman, you can basically be Superman with the Lumaflex here, because remember, Superman gets his strength from the sun. It's light. Yes. It's all the heat. There you go. Right there. He's showing you that if you want to be Superman and you want to get healthy like Superman does and repair your body, you got to go to Lumaflex. You don't have to go fly up to the sun like Soups did at all, man.
That's it. It's amazing how in so much of our past and in our there's so much that talks about the sun being like the ultimate energy, to be like the center of everything. Everything's about like it's like vampires, like they're only killed with the sunlight. It's like because when you go deep into photobiomodulation is the medical term for light therapy. When you really go deep into it and you start talking to scientists and doctors, you learn about the real importance of light in our biology and how much we need it, and how we as humans are like, it's like we're almost 95% deficient in sunlight today compared to how we were before. So, with sort of where I've come from now and what I've learned, I would very confidently say that light is our number one essential every day. Like we should have light, we should have sunlight before, clean water, healthy food, regular exercise, deep sleep, all these things that we know we need. I would rate light as the most important, just for your overall wellness, your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health. There's so much enhancement that is available just by going outside and getting natural light. And I understand that not many people can do that. Maybe you're in an area where it's cloudy, or it's, that you don't have access to direct sunlight or whatever. But that's where devices like Lumaflex come in, because you're able to get the sunlight, the valuable rays of light that we need for our cellular energy, and you have it in in something that you can use on the go, right? But yeah, it's very important. Like,
Yeah, and I truly understand that, and that's why before we were even on the air, I told you I looked at Lumaflex, went to the website, and the product it amazed me because so many people, and this is kind of a question I didn't even think about asking until right now, but so many people are afraid of the sun because of my mom is a prime example. She was outside a while. She went to the doctor. Doctor said, "Oh, you know what? You have a little mark on your skin. We're going to test it. It could be, melanoma, could be skin cancer, yada yada yada." And then the doctor comes back and says, "It's too much sun. You're in the sun too much." So hearing people talk like that, saying, "Okay, well, is Lumaflex the same type of, sunshine, the same type of rays that we're getting for the sun? Will that affect me if I have very, very, my skin is very, softer? It's basically, I can get, a birthmark just by looking at the sun on my skin. It's so, it's not that great." Is Lumaflex that type of technology too, where
no,
it
we're
provides it?
yeah,
Yeah, so it provides basically the
yeah,
sun rays, but without the actual
yeah,
sun
the
ray.
yeah,
The UV. I'm
UV
sorry.
light's on the other side of the spectrum. So
Yeah.
we just provide all the good light that's available in the sun. Well, no, I don't want to say
Okay.
good light. All lights is good, but yes, UV light can be like catabolic to our cells. That's where we
Yeah.
get burned, right? We get sunburn. But there are people that are allergic to sun, right? That have very fair skin, and usually, I don't want to make a claim, or I want to make sure I'm very careful that if you do have like an actual sun allergy, you do need to ask the doctor if it's okay to have red and infrared light. But usually those allergies are in the UV spectrum.
Okay.
But yeah, it's
Okay.
always best to consult with a doctor. But
Yeah.
talking about sunlight, like if you talk to these biohackers, these these optimizers, these gurus, and a lot of them are very famous now. 40 years ago, the door was slammed in their face, like you're a whack job, you're a hippie, but now
Yeah.
they're like rolled, the red carpet is rolled out for them to give these talks, and they talk about sun worshiping and all of this. When you talk to them about it, there's something that's in that community that's all talked about, like which is quite, it's interesting. And that is that sunscreen is like the biggest scam in the world, because
Mhm.
it's basically telling the human race not to access the free energy which is available to us by the sun. Very interesting topic if anyone wants to go down that rabbit hole. Also, they say that like skin cancer is like the skin cancer is caused by not by the sun, but by like the chemicals that you put onto your body, like beauty chemicals or like shampoos or sunscreen, and
Yeah.
the way in which we live as humans, like we smoke, we're under artificial light. That's another thing. Very, very amazing topic to look into is artificial light, like the light that we have in not natural light, artificial light, and how actually that light increases inflammation. It causes disease, right? Your likelihood of cancer increases, when you're exposed to more artificial light. There's lots of studies and books on this, but it goes two ways, right? You want to have the good light, right? The good light, but you also want to protect your body against artificial light. And that's why it's not encouraged to like look at your phone or your computer or watch TV, before bed. Like you need to wind your body down, and you need to expose yourself to red light, right? Because when we would wake up in the morning, it was, back in ancient times, it was sunrise, sunset. That was our circadian rhythm started, right? That's our biological clock would wake up. And then when we would sleep, it was sunset. And at our body would be winding down. Our biology would be, calming us down, getting ready for bed to regenerate, right? To recover, and then to start again the next day. And we would cook food around fires, right? That's our red and infrared light, right? Around fires. So we weren't exposed to that blue light, artificial light, like we have with the screen or the phone. So when people, there's studies that show like, oh, why is there all this anxiety and depression, and why are all these diseases coming to the coming up in our lives right now? And a lot of it is just because we are off our body clock. We're breaking our circadian rhythm. We're not following our natural sort of biology. But yeah, very interesting topics to get into if listening.
That brings up a whole nother show that we could probably do here on Sweep Unplugged with you, because that's another whole 30 maybe hour show right there, talking to John Graham Harper, lumaflex.com. And there's a couple more topics I wanted to get into. Also, we tend to do our top 5 at the end of the show here. That's kind of puts a lot of people on the spot, but it's fun. I guarantee it's nothing bad at all. A couple of things I wanted to ask you before we get to the end part of the show here. One is the athletic side, because I really feel with Lumaflex, like you said, the North Star you mentioned earlier is military. I can definitely see, military definitely using Lumaflex and it benefiting them 100%, as well as in the athletic world. Yeah. Has Lumaflex been in contact or has been in talks with the NBA, college basketball, NFL? A lot of these athletes need the repair, need the therapy on the go and during game times. To me, this is something that I feel could be major beneficial to a lot of these major sports organizations.
Oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of I've been in touch with the head office of NBA. I'm based here in Miami. Like where I went for my run today is past the Miami Heat Stadium. I know the crew that's in there. All of them have a Lumaflex. There's a few, but where I sort of, because it's a tool and it's FDA Class 2, right? It is a medical product. Where we've got Health Canada, we've got like all the major health medical certifications. It kind of is positioned more as I talk directly to the coach of the NBA team, the therapist of the NBA team, or the same with boxing or UFC or any of those major organizations. Usually the contacts that I have more are to do with the trainers and the therapists that help, because it's a tool. It's like a massage gun or a pair of compression boots. So we already are integrated into a lot of sports, but more so on the back end. It's not like a lot of these players, like the Miami Heat players, their job is just to, like, I've heard some funny stories about how they really are they just play basketball. they just play their sport, and everything, all the care and the planning and the structuring is done by the teams in the back, the therapists and everything. And it's great to work with them because it adds a great, like, if you're doing massage or you're addressing an injury, it's like something that you can put on to that area. Like in something really exciting is I do my regional distribution is very, very strong, especially in Europe. And the GCC is very good. Even Asia is very strong. And recently we are now in ambulances in Poland. Like the Lumaflex is a tool that is in the kit of a doctor when they roll up to someone with a condition to get them to hospital. It's there, and they can address, and enhance circulation. Because by giving energy to the cell through these light nanometers, right, to give it to the mitochondria, your increased ATP, increased cellular energy, anti-inflammation, right, it decreases inflammation, and it increases blood circulation. So, with these three mechanisms, there's, an endless list of outcomes that we can achieve. Everything from, growing your hair. You can actually use red light to help grow your hair, to boost your body's testosterone, to boost your body's SPF. That's another thing, is that by exposing your body to red light, you get sunburned less. You actually build your body's SPF levels to where you don't get sunburned. For boosting collagen in the skin, again, anti-inflammation, for chronic pain and all this. So all of these wonderful benefits derive just by giving energy to the cell, because any condition that we are that we're talking about, we're addressing it on a cellular level. So having the device in an ambulance, it's very easy, like a car accident, there's a, wound healing, just to apply the device, into that area and to get treatment and get circulation and get cellular energy while they're on the way to the hospital. It's very exciting. It's really exciting. Made my day when we were able to achieve that, in Poland.
Awesome. Talking to John Graham Harper again, lumaflex.com. We're coming to the end part of Sweep Unplugged here, all a part of Sweep the League Network. Again, you can catch this interview on Sweep the League TV. Just go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV, hit that subscribe button. So I'm going to unplug from the Lumaflex side for a second here. We're going to get into a top 5, and it's a real quick top 5 at the end of the show here. But I know for those of y'all out there, there's 2 guys, Brad Pitt and Edward Norton. They did a little movie called Fight Club. And first rule of Fight Club is you never talk about Fight Club. So I'm hoping I'm not breaking that rule when I bring up a certain thing called White Collar Fight Night, something that you were a part of, that I believe you had created that as well. I started to look into that. That, man, I'm behind a desk. I work in the office environment. Mm-hmm. How do I get into this whole thing? Because it's basically an 8-week training. You're training for a fight that you have at the end of the session, and it just seems like it's something that gets you in shape. It's good, mental, physical therapy, because you're training, you're getting, experience in boxing, and then at the end of the time, it's the ultimate fight. You get to get into the ring, you get to box. It's a charity event. I mean, there's really no lose in any of this situation. So forgive me, you're not supposed to talk about Fight Club. Rule number 2 is you don't talk about Fight Club. But I wanted to ask you about White Collar Fight Night. Can you give everybody just a little bit of background on that?
Yeah, that's something I don't get asked enough about. It's like, it is just my hobby. It's something that, because of the tumor and not being able to fight, I wanted to continue to be in the sport, because that's my big passion is boxing. That's like my, if I ever need to fix a problem, I rush to a boxing gym and just hit a bag, do some, some light sparring. It's always been like something that is really important to me, is boxing. So not being able to fight anymore, I wanted to create a federation and basically encourage people to fight and use the challenge of getting in the ring and, taking on an opponent as, this challenge, the feedback that you get, it translates to work, to relationships, to your career, to everything, right? As it did for me when I was fighting. I got like I went up a level, in the game of life, after I was doing all these fights. So the concept is white collar boxing, but I call it WCFN. So every time I do an event, I give a number, the same like UFC does, like UFC 300. I do WCFN. But it is just for shits and giggles. It's just something that's really fun. I run an event once every year. I've done 38 events. And I've supported like multiple charities. I think every single event I've averaged 15 fights. So that's about 30 fighters. So there's thousands of, there's over 1,000 fighters that have participated. Usually I don't, because I've built the brand up so much, I don't need to promote it. Like, if I feel like doing an event, I'm like, I make a post. I say, who wants to fight? And I have I usually, like the last event I did in December, there was like over 100 white collars that I needed to match make. Like I have to go through so many profiles because everyone wants to be part of it. But it's just something that kind of kept me in the boxing world. It is something I'm very good at. Like there's things that many things people are good at, right? And I'm not good at everything, but if there's one thing I'm really good at, it's combat entertainment. It's like creating the excitement, the buzz, the who's going to win, the tale of the tape, that's just something that's very second nature to me. But obviously my business, the vision that I have to change the world is in medical, it's in red light therapy. And there's ways in which I cross them over. I have I use like my, my marketing budget from to put the event on, so I can kind of like play them both. But it's kind of it's really, really exciting. I mean, everyone listening to it is a challenge that I think it's like I have people that are multi-millionaires, like very successful, very, very successful companies. But the only thing they ever talk about is the fight that they did at my event. Like, to them, that is their greatest achievement. And I think it's wonderful because it's something so primal, in us to get into the ring, to fight for, for our lives. It's an instinct inside us. And I've watched people that are very sedentary, maybe they have like their vices, they drink, they smoke, they're addicted to something. I've watched them say, John, I want to join your event. And I've watched them sort of transform and fight in the ring, and then suddenly go up a level. I've watched this happen, and it's something it's very inspiring. I would encourage anyone to do it. Jump into a white collar event. It's game changer.
Definitely look it up. It's not bad. You can talk. There's no rules. It's not Fight Club. You can definitely talk about it. It is out there. It is a white collar fight night. Again, John Graham Harper coming to you for lumex.com, and also the fact that lumaflex.com. I'm sorry, lumaflex.com. Also, if you are interested in the white collar fight night, just look it up. You can get all the information there when he posts again. As long as you don't have anybody challenge me, I'm not a fighter anymore. I haven't fought in a very long time, but there are people I would love to fight out there, FYI. So
you could do
maybe we can make something
battle
happen.
of the podcasts.
We're in San Antonio. There's a lot of people that want to fight each other on the podcast.
Yeah.
In Antonio. So maybe we'll have to do a South Texas type thing for you, John, and we can get you involved in that. Before we go here, again, it's John Graham Harper, lumaflex.com. Great product. Again, Time Magazine's product of the year, innovation of the year. Invention of the year, 2023. A lot of great awards coming, especially a couple on the way, as he mentioned. More products coming in 2025. Before we go, we've been doing this lately on Sweep Unplugged, and that's our top 5. We catch people off guard with it. Again, very, very, very fun. We create the music in the background for you. So, originally you said you were part of rugby, and I was like, I'm gonna ask a rugby top 5. No, you said boxing at the end, and we like boxing here at Sweep the League. So, putting you on the spot, your all-time, doesn't have to be in any type of order, all-time top 5 boxers for you.
Easy. Okay, so right now my favorite boxer is Jung Gillette. He's ranked 3 in WBC. He trains out of New Jersey. His coach is Sean George. Look him up. His fight is actually this weekend on the 27th in I think he's in Riyadh. I think the fight is in Riyadh. So he's active right now. So he's now my G. I've known him for a very, very long time. Second would be Tyson Fury, who is the former WBC, lineal and heavyweight champion. He's retired now. Still love him to death. I've known him and his team for a long time. I actually had the privilege, both those guys, I've sparred with them. And when you spar a WBC, a WC ranked heavyweight, whoa, it's a real treat. It's a real treat. So I would say Tyson Fury is he's my second, and it's just because he's retired. Like for years, I idolized. Like my growth in my career kind of mimicked the down spell that Tyson had after his fight with Klitschko, and then he rose up again and he did the Dante trilogy fights. So I kind of had that same thing. So when I first met him and I got to spar him, it was like, to this day, it's like the best day of my life. But now he's retired. So now I'm kind of like, let's go Jung. I'm on Team Jung now. Yeah. Third would be obviously Usyk, who right now is the greatest fighter in the world. And he is the greatest fighter in the world. And from a technical perspective, like when you watch him and you watch his footwork and everything, it's magical. It's like watching art. It's like watching or drinking a very expensive wine. There's something so amazing about just the way that he fights. It's mesmerizing. Like I just sit and watch it and it's like I'm in a trance.
Yeah.
Okay, and then after that would be, that's a tough one. Would I say Derek Chisora? I guess Derek Chisora would be number 4. He's got quite a nice legacy behind him. He is kind of like someone you could Okay, yeah, I got my last one. Let's stay in the heavyweight division. Give Derek Chisora a high five. I think he's soon to retire. He's had a really great legacy. Someone that I've never personally met, but he's someone that I guess I would really respect what he's done. Fifth guy, and again, this is in no order. The greatest, the only fighter that I haven't had the opportunity to meet that I really want to meet is Manny Pacquiao. I've watched Manny Pacquiao fight in loads of different fights, and he's still, in my opinion, one of the greatest boxers in all history. But yeah, that's my top 5. Bang.
There you go. Top 5 from John Graham Harper. Top 5 all-time favorite boxers of his. And Pacquiao, yeah, me growing up, I was always my dad would say, hey, we're watching this fight, and it was the Duran Leonard fights, it was the Tommy Hitman Hearns, Julio Cesar Chavez. I was more I guess of that middleweight. I like the heavyweights a lot too, but I was more in that middleweight class, lightweight class. Roy Jones Jr., Bernard Hopkins, that was my go-to from back in the day. And then I don't know why I got on the Zab Judah train for a while there, and I was just 100% Zab Judah there. But yeah, Manny Pacquiao. And I'm gonna tell you right now, sparring with Tyson Fury, if I ever had to do that, or even just be in the ring with Tyson Fury, you're gonna see an order of like 1,000 Lumaflexes, because I'm gonna need one on every part of my body after dealing with Tyson Fury.
Yes.
I appreciate you, John, for joining us here on Sweep Unplugged. Again, www.lumaflex.com to order your product, get all the information. Don't forget about the White Collar Fight Night if you're interested in that. John's doing a lot of great stuff out there, so you can get in contact with him there. Also, real quick, before we go, John, let everybody know how they can get in contact with you outside of the website. Where else can they reach you at?
Oh, best is Instagram, just John Graham Fitness. That's my handle. And if you message me, just say that you've been on this great show, and I'll give me your email and I'll register you on the back end of our education. Because how I see the growth of the whole photobiomodulation industry, raising awareness and curing, ailments in the human condition with natural non-invasive treatment, is just by getting the education out. I see that as a measure for the growth of the company. It's just the more people I have, actually take that education. So reach out and I'll give you access.
There you go. Great thing from John Graham Harper. Again, lumaflex.com. You can get a hold of him on Instagram. John Graham Fitness. Just follow him there on Instagram. Shoot him a message. Shoot him a DM. Say, hey, you know what? I caught you on that knucklehead show, Rudy Campos, with Sweep Unplugged, and we'll hook you up there. So, John, again, we appreciate you joining us here on Sweep Unplugged. And for everybody out there, go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV, hit that subscribe button where you get this great content, as well as all the other shows that we've got a part of the Sweep the League network. And STL Music is growing by leaps and bounds. So you don't want to be left out. Just search Sweep the League TV on YouTube, hit subscribe button. So for John Graham Harper, it is Rudy Campos Jr. Until we sweep the league and we unplug from the sports world and plug into the outside world from sports, we'll see you later, knuckleheads.